Hey everybody, it's Phil Carrick here from philcarrick.com, and I'm really excited today. I have the wonderful Cary Duke from Ad Strategies with us. Welcome, Cary. How are you doing?
You know what, Phil? I'm doing fantastic. Fantastic.
Cary, you're always doing fantastic. That's what I like. That's what I like about you. And everybody, the reason why I've got Cary on the call today is I posted on Facebook about web conversions and websites and what we're doing wrong, what the majority of business owners are doing wrong with regards to websites. So I know Cary is a web conversion master. So Cary, tell us, what are the royal we, in inverted commas, doing wrong with our websites?
Well, before we get to that, let's just say that you should probably know why you want to listen to what I have to say. All right. I have been in this game for over 13 years. I built my first website 21 years ago. And I have literally generated millions for my clients. Millions. All right. I have one client I've had for 10 years, and we're doubling up his revenue this year. All right. I had another one that we generated probably 13,000 lead generation phone calls. And I know that fellow averaged about $486 per call. So when I'm going to tell you the next thing about what you're doing wrong with your website, I'm having experience with thousands of websites. Literally thousands of websites. I am a reformed SEO expert.
On me.
Okay. Reformed because I found a better way to get leads. And so through that process, there's three critical things that people are not doing with their websites, that if you do these things, it's almost a guarantee that you're going to get more business, right? I mean, let's take web design. You know, it's like a web designer is going to make things look pretty. Can we agree on that?
Oh yes, absolutely.
They're going to make things look pretty. The colors are going to be nice, and I don't care. I don't care. Ugly sites have in every single test that they have done through the years, ugly sites have always converted better than pretty sites. Always.
And so have all mine.
Okay. And so let's start from there. I think people put their money in the wrong place when they start thinking about being online and generating leads. Now, if your goal is to sell something high end, like a $20 million piece of real estate, yeah, you probably need to have something that's pretty. But if you're selling something that's a lot more practical, let's take landscapers, for instance. I know you're interested in that. I'm interested in financial advisors and CPAs and bookkeepers. But if you're selling something more practical, something that a business owner wants, then you need to be more practical in where you put your money. All right. And that is not in design, it's in effectiveness. Right. So number one, you got to have a mobile optimized website. Right. I mean, personally, I've been building mobile optimized websites since 2013. So if it's not mobile optimized, then, well, that's mistake number one. Mistake number two is, do not make me go to the bottom of your website to find your freaking phone number. All right. Easiest thing that I should be able to find on your website is your phone number.
Yeah.
And if I'm thinking strategically, then that phone number should be click to call, right? Push the button. Now my phone is ready to go. All right. So, just from a design standpoint, those are I think the most critical elements. Everything after that is fluff, except for these three things I'm about to mention. because no matter what you do, right? No matter what you do, Phil, if your landscaper likes to go to network meetings, they like to go to the morning leads meetings, they like to go to the Chamber of Commerce or the social groups like Rotary, or I'm not sure what it is over there where you are or in Britain, but I'm sure they have social clubs, right?
They do.
And they participate in these social clubs to try to get leads, right? That's the reason that you do it. Well, that's the unstated reason that you do it. All right. So if that's your thing, networking, right? If networking is how you get leads, you're using that to drive people to your website. If you're doing organic SEO or anything like that, you're still using that to drive people to your website. If you're doing social media, Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever the social media platform is, Instagram, TikTok, all of that is still driving people to your website to see more about you, what's going on, how do I do business with you, how do I contact you? That's really what it's about, right? Getting people to your website. If you're doing paid traffic, it's even more critical, right? Because you're actually paying people directly for every person who visits your webpage. So all of these methods are driving people to your webpage. But then what happens?
Yeah.
Right? Then what happens? And so my whole world has revolved down to the critical optimization elements that somebody needs to have in order to take advantage of all the traffic that they have, right? Does that make sense?
It does indeed.
All right, so are you ready to hear what those three are?
Cary, I think anybody listening is probably thinking, get on with it, Cary. Tell us what these three things are. So I'll shut up and I'll let you tell us.
Well, let's just say that in good storytelling, you have to build up the tension. All right. So element number one, right? If you're going to get more business from the traffic that you're already receiving without getting any additional traffic, you have to be faster at communicating with those prospects. And what does that mean? What does that mean, faster? I mean, back in the day, it used to be that if you didn't call back a lead within 5 minutes, then your opportunity to get that person as a prospect or as a client dropped 42% after 5 minutes. Okay, so you lose almost half of the ability if you didn't contact them in 5 minutes. Well, today, right, we're like almost a decade past that. Virtually everybody has one of these now. Virtually everybody uses these to do almost everything that they want to do, right?
Absolutely.
And so what we know is through lots of studies is that 45% of people under 45, no, I have that wrong. It's 81% of people under 45 want their first communication with a business to be through SMS.
Yeah.
All right. So it's like, okay, how as a business do I manage SMSing all my prospects? Now they're all going to have my personal cell phone number. I don't like that. I don't want that idea, right? Well, I don't like that idea either. But then again, how do I get them from my website to my cell phone, to a cell phone, to do texting?
Yeah.
Well, the answer is you don't, right? You don't. You use business class texting and you set that up as opposed to a chat bot on your website. So everybody who has a chat bot, they're on the right track, but now you're using technology and communication devices that's already 3 years old and people don't like it, right? You say, well, okay, I have that communication device on my website and somebody has a question, they can type an answer in. And then what? Wait till you're good and ready to answer it. Wait till your VA or your employees get around to it. Wait till, the email, comes in and, it's like, that's not what the client wants. What they want is instant communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the only way, I'm sorry, Phil, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, Cary. I was just saying I couldn't agree more. It's almost like instant gratification, isn't it? But they want to know that that you care. They want to know that you're right, you know, you're there for their issue.
It's actually, it's even more important psychologically, is that in today's world, people they're used to hiding behind their computers, and they don't want to call somebody and be sold.
Yeah.
Right? If I call you, you're going to sell me. Well, yeah, actually I am. I mean, that's the whole point of things, right? And so the older I get, the less people are willing to have that face-to-face confrontation regarding sales. Right? The people that are under 50, under 45, they are so used to not having that conversation face to face, and that's why they like to do the texting. They want their initial conversations to be via text, and that way they have a softer entry into your business. Right? They have a softer entry into your business. They get to feel like that they're important to you, right? They're important to you because you're texting me. All right. Well, they don't need to know that you're not texting them on your personal cell phone.
That's right.
Right. You're doing it from your business computer. You're doing it from your laptop. Your employees are doing it from their desktops. Yep. Because you're using business class texting. And you can use business class texting to set up keywords. Like if somebody does that keyword, it'll automatically send out the right text. You can use it to send documents. I mean, there's a whole host of things that you can use it for. All right. So that's number one, speed of communication. Number two is trust. Right? You're like, oh, what are you talking about, Cary? Trust. Well, the idea is if somebody comes to your website, they want to know that they can trust you, right? And the biggest form of trust that we have in today's world is not mouth-to-mouth marketing. It's not word-of-mouth marketing. It's not talking to your neighbor over the fence. I mean, who talks to their neighbors anyway, right? That's 30 years ago. We don't do that anymore, right? But trust factors can be put on websites, and a lot of people have tried this. And so they put on testimonials of people that have done business with it, and they type it out. Okay, do I really believe that? Where's the third party independence and verification on that, right? And so, it's like most people will see testimonials that are on a website and just ignore them because they're skeptical, right? And so how do we overcome that skepticism to build the know, like, and trust factor that you need to get a conversion, to get that phone call or to get that initial text? You need trust factors. So trust factors come in a variety of forms, but the absolute number one is third-party testimonials, right? And so the number one review platform in the world is Google. 100%. Google is your friend.
Yep.
And so if you're a local business, you should be utilizing Google reviews. Right. So you have to have a Google My Business or a Google Business Profile, whatever you know it by. And you have to be, managing that process. You have to be proactively going after reviews. You have to proactively be responding to those reviews. And you get a lot of ancillary benefits by doing that, like, rankings, getting in the map and all of that. But for your website, what you actually can then do is stream those reviews live on your website. Right. And so you filter out the top reviews, you get the last 25, and it's like, okay, well, all these studies have said the same thing, right? If your reviews are over 90 days old, they're not important anymore. I don't care if you have 4,562 reviews. If you don't have any in the last 90 days, they're not relevant. All right. Now, if you're on the other end of the scale and you only have 4 reviews, you're still not relevant because it takes an average of 10 for anybody to actually trust what your reviews say, right? And then if you have a perfect 5.0, you're also not relevant because nobody believes that anybody's perfect.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to factor all of these different things in, but the most important part of that process for your website is that you stream it so that people can see it without having to leave your website to go check you out.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have Google verified videos or testimonials streaming across your website, easy to see and float no matter where you go on the website, there they are. you're gonna do better than your competition.
Love that one, Cary. Yeah, absolutely. And that's something I always reiterate to any of my clients. I always, if they sell to the local community, which many of them do, I always bang on about the relevancy of Google Business, or like you say, it used to be called Google My Business. And maybe you and I both remember it as Google Places. Maybe not everybody's as old as us, Cary, but yeah.
I cut my baby teeth on Google Places in the internet world.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, that's brilliant. And I love the fact that you mentioned the streaming capability as well, because yeah, as soon as you mentioned reviews, I started to smile. I knew you were going to talk about Google reviews, but that's brilliant. So thanks for sharing that. So
yeah, look, I mean, if you do business all across the country, you say, well, you know, Google my business, or those Google reviews have no relevance for me. You're wrong, right? You're just absolutely wrong. You can have a Google business profile, whether you do local business or whether you work nationally, right? Because it's still the number one place that people check to see what you're about.
Yeah.
It's the number one place. It's the biggest search engine. People go there to solve a problem, and they also go to see if you're relevant.
Absolutely.
Can I trust you, right? If I can't trust you, Google doesn't trust you, how can I trust you? Right? So, and if you put it on your website, and now they don't have to leave your website to see that relevancy, your trustability goes up, your conversion goes up, because now they don't have to go anywhere and check you out and forget where they were.
Yeah, absolutely. And even just going on a quick segue here, when we're talking about Google and their algorithms as well, I mean, you know, we know now that the Google EAT algorithm is all about expertise, authority, and trust. EAT.
Yeah.
So that's why there's so much onus placed on Google Business Profile now. And so, hey, anybody watching, need to be doing this. You need to be proactively sending out your review form inside of your Google Business Profile to people who've done business with you, because they will not get off their backside and do it for you. You have to ask them. Maybe a few might, but
well, look, if you're also using business texting, you have the ability to get to a place where 98% of your messages is going to be open, and they're going to be much more likely to do that review.
Good,
right?
Point. Good point.
So, I mean, so, you know, the argument about email, building up an email list versus a text list or an SMS list is like, well, I understand that email is important and a lot of people will still use it, right? I understand that you know, it's like, if you're really going to do things, you should do them both. However, if you're only going to do one, do the one that they're going to open. Do the one they're going to open. Anything you can do on email, you can do better, faster, and quicker, and have more assurance they're going to see it with the SMS. Period.
Absolutely.
Right. So if you want to say I'm an evangel for SMS, and yeah, I am. Yeah. I really am. All right.
No, you're quite right, Cary. Sorry to jump in, but you know what you touched on there about the open rates with SMS compared to near enough anything else. It's night and day. It really is.
There is no comparison.
No.
I mean, you know, there's you know, when I travel in these circles, right? That you have all these email marketers and people bragging about open rates and all this, and it's like, well, I got a 72% open rate. I'm like, dude, I got a 98% open rate. When you get in the competition.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know. When you put it into context, it just it's a no.
I mean, but the average open rate is like, you know, well under 30, right?
Yeah.
And when we say open rates, all we're saying is that, is your prospect or your client actually reading your email? And if it's under 30, well, now you're saying, well, 70% of the people I want to see my message are not seeing my message, right? If you're a local business and you want more business, and 70% of the people that you want to see your message aren't seeing it, isn't it time to maybe look at an alternative method?
Yeah.
I mean, look, everybody's spending money to drive traffic to the website. Everybody's spending money, whether they're saying I'm actually writing a check for that or not. They're spending money. They're spending their time. They have opportunity costs. They're doing things to drive people to their website. So they're spending money. And if you want to capitalize on that, if you want to increase your ROI on that effort, whether it's time or money, then you need to be using texting, SMS communication. And you need to do it on a business class format that is not your personal cell phone. You don't need anybody to have your personal cell phone. However, you can use your personal cell phone to do all of that communication through apps, right? So, yeah.
Love it. Love it.
All right. Number 3. All right. And from a local business standpoint, this is such a critical failure because of its inexpensive nature. It's almost a crime that more people are not using it. And I would venture to say, I don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but I would venture to say it's upwards of 85% of local businesses do not utilize this Fortune 500 tactic that's affordable.
Okay.
Retargeting.
Oh,
all right.
My favorite.
So here's the thing. People, we just got through talking again about the expense that you're deriving through getting people to your website. And yet the sad fact is that no matter how good your website is, how pretty it is, how much trust is on that website, or even the fact that they can communicate fast, 9 out of 10 people are going to bounce. They're going to hit that website. They're going to look at it and say, I'm not ready. It's not my time. I need more information, whatever. They're going to leave.
Yep.
Right. So you spend all that effort to get them there. And then what? What do you have in place to get them back? What do you have in place to get them back to that website that is not a duplication of effort?
Absolutely.
Retargeting. You can retarget people. I mean, if people don't understand, it's like, I don't know everybody in the audience, obviously. So if you don't know what retargeting is, it's like if you go to Amazon and you look at sneakers, you go to another website like ESPN or something,
and they start following.
And there's those sneakers all over the place following you around. You go to the Weather Channel, there's the sneakers. You go to an investing site, there's the sneakers. They are everywhere. They're following you.
And then Cary, sorry to jump in, but then as you see them on other websites, you're looking around and you're thinking, is there a camera in here? How do they know that I've just looked at those sneakers or the golf clubs? But you're quite right. It's just retargeting or remarketing, depending on the term you use. But it's a great way to capitalize on the traffic, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the simplest thing is just to use it for branding, right? Somebody came to your landscaping site and then you just you follow them around with, hey, we're a landscaper, that kind of thing. Now, the more sophisticated usage of that will be to do it in a campaign. So let's say we know what our sales cycle is, and our sales cycle is 30 days, right? First contact is sold, it's average 30 days. Well, what you can do is through a sequence of messages, you can build up your know, like, and trust, you can build up your branding, and then you can send them an offer.
Yeah.
Right. And so you follow up with testimonials, ads, you send, it's like, here's what so-and-so said, they had a great time, with your logo, and you vary that up, and then you send branding ads just to remind them who you are, what you do, and then you send them another offer. Yeah. Right. And so with that kind of sequencing and knowing what the sales cycle is, you can match up their thought process, right? Who are they? Do I know them? Do I like them? And are they going to give me a deal? Right. And so through that kind of sequencing and knowing the sales cycle, you can send that message through. Now, from a retargeting standpoint, we have a lot of sophisticated ways that we don't really talk about a lot. But if you're a landscaper, you're dealing with people who go to, let's say, hardware stores, the big box stores, to buy things to build, do your house repairs and yard work and things of that nature, right? But if you're a landscaper, those are your ideal clients. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So we have a method of being able to build a list of everybody who walks through that store, and they don't even need to look at our ad while they're in that store.
Yeah.
They don't even need to look at their phone while they're in that store, right? If we can build up a list that's 75 to 100,000 big, then we can then retarget those same people with our landscaper's message.
Yeah.
And they've never seen our website. We don't have to pay the extra fee of cold traffic, right? It's not a cold ad, but we're still going straight to them with our message. So we can get really sophisticated with this type of retargeting, depending on the client and the budget and things of that nature. But at the simplest form, somebody comes to your website, you need to remind them that they were there.
Absolutely. And I love that, Cary. I really do. I love the fact that you've incorporated the retargeting as almost as another conversion strategy on the website. And the fact that retargeting is that good these days, you can even retarget people inside of emails.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
and have an ad on it. On the email, Gmail's allowing it, Hotmail's allowing it. It's crazy, isn't it? But it's
there are a lot of strategic advantages, but it's like, in this conversation, if you're going to a website, you got to remind them that they were there.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like, like, all right, you can probably get, depending on what your traffic flow is, but from a local business, you could probably get 2 to 3 extra clients just by incorporating those 3 methods.
Absolutely.
And so if you're charging, I don't know what the lifetime value of as a landscaper, but let's just say it's, $6,000, $500 a month, right? $6,000. And you've got 3 of those every month. That's an extra $18,000 over the year. It's almost 200 extra grand, and you're not doing anything different except those 3 conversion elements.
Absolutely. It's soon adds up, doesn't it?
That seems like a pretty good return on it.
Yeah. Sorry, Cary, I interrupted you.
And I think is like, well, no, I was just going to say that I think that's a pretty good ROI, because the amount of investment that you're going to make for that is really, it's almost like a 12 to 1, maybe, 10 to 1, somewhere in that neighborhood. And so you make that investment and you get that huge return. And it's just something that's like, well, that makes a lot of sense. So if I, it's like, if I'm a business owner, it's like, you're going to tell me that I can give you $1 and I'm going to get $8 to $10 back. Sign me up, man. Where's that ATM at?
Absolutely. It's almost like a cash machine, isn't it? You're putting your dollar in.
It is.
And it's spitting out $8 to $10. How many times would you put that dollar in? Quite a few. So
yeah. I mean, and let's go back to reviews, right? Because people don't understand the value of reviews. They think, well, yeah, it's important to have a lot of them, but it's really it can be quantified, right? If you're in a market and in the maps, there's 3 guys, and let's just say that there's 100 searches for that term a month, right? Whatever the term is. And Google will tell us that number. We know what the cost of pay-per-click advertising is for that search. But in the map, right, if you're in that map where those 3 people are, let's just say that there's 3 companies and they all have 20 reviews, right? 23, 18, whatever, but they're all around 20. Well, what Google does, and people don't understand this, but what Google does is they say, well, we're going to give about 52% of all the clicks that come to that website, to that search term, to that 3-pack, right? So now you're starting off, there's 10 organic items on the page. There can be as many as 6 different ads on that page. That's 16 items. There could be another ad in the map, right? That's 17 items on top of those 3, but we're going to give those 3 52% of the clicks.
Yeah.
Well, that means everything else on the page is getting nothing, right? Almost nothing. So you want to be in the map. Those 52%, or those three are getting 52%. And then here's the important part. They distribute those 52% of the clicks. In our case, 52, because we said there's 100 searches. They're going to distribute those 52 depending on the number of reviews.
Yeah.
All right. So if everybody's got a third of the reviews, they're all going to get a third of those searches. Well, what if you had a dominant number of reviews? Now you're going to get a dominant number of those clicks. And if you, again, we use the $6,000 on lifetime value, you can do the math, right? I mean, the math works out that you could probably look at that opportunity as $200,000 to $300,000 a month, a head start over all of your competition. And that's how important reviews are.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Cary, especially what you said about the 3-pack, or what I like to call the money pack, because that's really where the money is, those three, for want of a better word, Google Maps listings. I know that's not the correct term, but that's what people associate as those three. If you can get in those three, and I've done the opportunity costs for the landscapers, and you're fairly close on the button there. You're talking potentially a huge revenue per month, just like it is with any other business that gets in those maps. You can have a significant improvement.
Right.
So, yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, well, a lot of people say, well, reviews are important, but they don't tell you why they're important. They don't tell you what the actual money cost or money opportunity is with reviews. Like, well, just saying they're important. It's like, okay, yeah, but so is breathing, right? Okay, to give, we know it's important, but why is it important? Why should I really care about that? Well, Google will tell you. I mean, the research on this is just absolutely clear. And this is not old research. This is like in the last 3 months. There is a quantifiable value to being in that 3-pack of the maps. And like you said, that's where the money is. Yeah. Because if you're not in the top 3, you're not getting the benefit of those 52% of whatever search volume is happening on that page. And 100 is just it's probably very, very low, but it makes it easy math.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. I mean, some of the search terms that I've done, Cary, for, I mean, landscapers, Manchester, for example, 720 searches per month. And that's not to be sniffed at. So if you're a landscaper in Manchester, if you're a CPA in Detroit, the figures soon mount up.
Yeah. The most of the time when I'm doing those calculations, I have a traffic value calculator on my website, and most of the time when you do that, the annual opportunity is always in the millions.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, well, I want $1 million marketing budget, but I don't have $1 million to spend. I'm giving you the $1 million secret right here.
Yeah.
This is how you get $1 million of opportunity. And that's by spending money in the right place, right? It's not in the design of the website. Can we reiterate that again? It's not in the design of the website. It can be ugly as sin. It doesn't matter. What matters is having the critical elements to drive conversion, right? And your website and the reviews go hand in hand with your Google My Business, because you can't have one without the other. So if you're going to have the reviews, you might as well take advantage of the opportunity to rank that Google My Business, Google Business Profile in that 3-pack, because it is money. It's guaranteed increase in your business.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more, my friend. And they were
awesome.
They were 3 top tips. Thank you so much, Cary. And I really appreciate your time today. And I know there's a bit of a gap as well, time-wise. We'll probably get jet lagged after this call. because there's a bit of water between us, isn't there? So
Yes, there is.
so
But
so,
I'm on the edge, right? I'm on the edge. I'm in Charleston, South Carolina. So
yeah,
it's,
you are. You are
water's
absolutely
right there.
you are. Thank goodness you're not. Thank goodness you're not in San Diego or somewhere like that. Then there's a bit more of a time difference, isn't there? So
Yeah.
Cary, if anybody wanted to get in contact with you, how do they do that?
Well, they can reach me on Facebook. I mean, that's pretty easy. I'm the Cary Duke, right? That's me, not just regular Cary Duke, the Cary Duke. They could also go to my YouTube channel. YouTube is marketing for bookkeepers, and then adstrategies.co, right? Adstrategies.co. I have a special site for bookkeepers, bookkeepers.strategies.co, where I specifically communicate and provide an offer to bookkeepers. But those are the 3 best methods.
Thank you so much, my friend. Really, really do appreciate it. And I know the viewers would get a lot out of what you've said, and not just about the three strategies, but everything else that you mentioned as well. The big takeaway is the let's not concentrate too much on the aesthetics of a website. Funny, I did a video talking about that, and I showed two different sites, and it is like night and day. And so that's great, Cary.
Hey, do you want a quick story about how I discovered how important the beauty of a site is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm doing lead generation in South Florida for HVAC. All right. And that air conditioning market in South Florida is extremely competitive. And I've had this site that's been up, and it's been #1 for emergency keywords for, several years. And all of a sudden, things happen and websites get messed up, and, they don't get updated, whatever. And I went and looked at this website and like, holy, what a piece of shit this website is now. It looks so bad. I mean, it was so bad. It's like purple, and just, it's like, the font got messed up, the colors got messed up, and the conversion increased. It's like, how is that how's that even possible? Well, partly because people weren't going to the website. They were just looking at the phone number and calling right off of Google search.
Yeah.
All right. So that's #1. But #2, it just proved to me it doesn't matter how good a website looks. It just doesn't matter, as long as they can reach you, right? As long as they can reach you.
Fabulous. Good.
So anyway,
thanks for that. And that's a real important point. Yeah, it doesn't really matter how nice, in inverted commas, your website looks. So,
no.
Cary, thank you.
Look, yeah. I mean, it's like, look, people do these Wix websites. I don't have no problem with you doing a Wix website. The problem you have with the Wix website, though, is you're not putting in conversion elements on it. You're not putting the phone number in. It's not click to call. You don't have any review streaming. You don't have any ability to contact you fast. So if you're not doing those 3 things, well, whatever. It's not the Wix website that doesn't work, right? So anyway, hey, Phil, it's been a pleasure. I could go on all day about this topic, and I appreciate you having me on.
No, the pleasure's all mine, sir. Thank you very much indeed. So once again, Cary, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. This has been Phil Carrick from philcarrick.com, and thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.